The scary part isn't that this is real, which is very real. The first fleshly android being powered by artificial intelligence.
I hope this video reached millions of people because y'all deserve to know. But what I'm about to reveal to y'all is truly significant.
Elon Musk going on record saying that we got 4 to 5 years to get rich. If not, we're going to be stuck in a digital prison.
Whether you love eerie mysteries, spine-chilling moments, or just have a curiosity for the unusual, you've come to the right place. We're about to take you on a ride through mind-bending content that will stick with you long after the credits roll. So grab your popcorn, dim the lights, and get ready, because the show is about to start.
The scary part isn't that this is real, which is very real. The first fleshly android being powered by artificial intelligence. The scary part is this. What we see now, they have had for a very, very long time. And you know how they say that 50% of the people living on this earth don't have an internal monologue, like they're NPCs? Do y'all really think that they aren't using these things today? I don't think people understand that we're living in a world where half the things that we see aren't real, at least the way that we think they're real. And speaking of this artificial intelligence, where did they get this intelligence from? This behind me is not the moon, it's the sun. You remember in April when we had that crazy eclipse? That was weird for so many reasons, like, you know, the positioning of the sun and the moon. Well, right around that time frame is when we had this drastic change in artificial intelligence and AGI. And we know we had AI before that, but when it happened, it was a dramatic shift. Well, did you know that there's a lot of people that say that when that whole thing happened, there is a massive deal that transpired. And when that happened, we were given technology that we cannot control. So I guess my main question is, what exactly will this be used for? And if already, which I believe it is, what is it being used for right now?
I hope this video reached millions of people because y'all deserve to know. But what I'm about to reveal to y'all is truly significant. What y'all know about nanobots, aka nanotechnology? It is by far the greatest weapon that we have against us today, by far. I've been knowing about this technology for a while now, but I know majority of the population have no idea this weaponry even exists. They have no idea. I was watching a James Bond film, out of all things, watching a movie, and it tells us exactly what it is and what it's designed to do. Are you watching it or is it watching you? Listen and pay attention.
They're what? What are they? They're nanobots. Right. Microscopic biorobots that can enter your system by the slightest contact with your skin.
Programmed with DNA to target specific individuals. Heracles was designed to be the most efficient weapon in our arsenal, passing through people harmlessly before reaching its intended target.
But Popochev modified the nanobots so that they can kill anyone related to the target. Anyone? Well, since it's DNA based with further modifications, yes. Families, certain genetic traits, single nucleotide variants and polymorphisms that could target a range from individuals to whole ethnicities. You infect enough people,
all the people become the weapon. It was never intended to be a weapon of mass destruction.
Y'all heard that, right? Truth in plain sight. It got me thinking, how are they able to get nanobots in our bodies? Everyone should be asking that. They're doing it in several ways. There's a lot of trails in our skies. Wouldn't you agree? Look up, because there's something coming down. I have to speak in code and you know why. They're doing it through weather modification, like rain, snow, etc. They're also entering in by the very foods that you consume. So check the ingredients. Same thing with the water supply. Lastly, they're doing it through vaccinations. So quit getting injected. Now I know there's other ways, but those ways are very essential, except the poisonous shots. The Matrix was hinting towards the same exact things. Do you remember? But it was a parasite in Neo, aka Nanobot. Let me show you.
I think you're bugged.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank our channel members for the amazing support. It's helping us grow like never before. All right, let's get into today's video.
Like TVs and phones and computers and stuff, they're kind of eerily similar to like scrying mirrors used by witches, you know? Let me explain. So you got the television, where they tell a vision, right? And on their television, they have some broadcasting of spells, yeah? And then they got the channels, kind of like channeling of spells. Got the programs, the mental programming, you know? Devices. It just so happens that the notorious druid wizards made their wands from Hollywood. Oh, the wood of a holly tree. That's a cool coincidence there. You know? You got your cell phone, prison cell, with your lock screen, you know? Got the internet, networking, you know? What are you using net for? I think you use a net to catch people, you know, kind of to trap people. A web site, kind of like a spider web, you know, also used to trap things. Monitor, who are they monitoring? A server? Who are we serving? What are we serving, you know? Why is it called a firewall? Why is it called a freaking mouse? You know, don't they test on mice in labs? And you got your keyboard. Key to what? You know, what doors am I opening with my keyboard, you know? What are these keys leading to, you know? Am I on to something, or am I schizo? Am I schizo? Oh, I'm back on schizogram. He's totally schizo. Take your meds, bro. Take your meds.
Because you got Elon Musk going on record saying that we got 4 to 5 years to get rich. If not, we're going to be stuck in a digital prison. Yeah. Which meaning, like, you know, especially for Black Americans, all of the jobs that AI replacing really are the jobs that Black people got. From trucking to, you know what I'm saying, the fast food jobs.
You know, it's on us, and it's tough to say it's on us because that means that we're starting right from ground zero. Even though our people's been in this country right for hundreds of years, people don't know what it's like to start from zero. Like, matter of fact, beyond zero.
That's how we make up 13% of the population. Negative. Get 1% of venture capital.
Oh yeah, venture capital. Basically, we don't get no venture capital. Like, we count that 1% because they also are not even giving it to the best and the brightest. Yeah. And so therefore, when those businesses fail, they can say, "Well, look, when we did get a little bit." Yeah. So we're not venture capital and private equity is a whole nother conversation to have. You feel me? And that's something that we would have to practice amongst ourselves, family offices and things of that nature. Yeah. And then when we look at the athletes, a lot of the athletes are investing their money where? Who's investing their money for them? Yeah. White men, white Jewish men are investing their money. They're not controlling, they're not looking at moral obligations when they do it. They don't know what companies they're investing in, right? And so they're taking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, some of them, monthly, and spreading these out in the private equity market, right? But to where? Right? It's not, they're not doling hundreds of thousands of dollars into Black businesses to see which ones are going to be unicorns, right? They're not going to Black banks and financial institutions, even though there are many Black men out here that could be their money managers, right? As Jaylen LeBron was exposing, yes, the agent thing is corrupt because that's basically just taking athlete money, right? And saying that now we can go leverage your money to go make more money while we're also taking a fee from that, right? And you are getting the minimum return on that because you're just trying to be safe and you don't even know.
Cut off top.
100%. So it's a tough game that's being played on us, and that's why the financial architecture, right, of the diaspora needs to be in focus. But it's hard to get that because we're so demoralized. Our cognitive architecture is broken because we went to schools, especially after integration, that integrated us into a pipeline of labor force that was only meant to docile our minds, keep us away from thinking, make us great machines. And in a time when we have great machines, we don't know how to use them because we don't have great minds.
I think we already living in that age, looking at how people are always in them phones and all that. If not, we are very near to getting there. It's like we all have been bewitched, just as that boy was saying. Tell us in the comments below.
Is Hollywood conditioning us for what's to come? Should we start paying very close attention to every single detail? And why do I say that? Because I just got done watching the Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day trailer. And let me tell you, it's going to open a lot of eyes. If you haven't seen it, take a look at this.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
This is crazy. They're communicating through her. Look at this. Is the timing of this trailer just coincidental to 3i Atlas's arrival on December 19th? Are they trying to get you in a comfort position where you can absorb something if it was to happen because you've seen it in a trailer or even in a movie? And other examples, you've heard the alleged allegations from the Pentagon regarding the return of the Anunnaki. Also, all of the drones that were seen all over the East Coast and across the United States. Is this something that we should be preparing for? Is this a message? Take a look at some more of the trailer. Listen.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You won't believe me if I told you. So I'm going to show you.
What are they talking about?
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
So what are your thoughts on this? Will you go see it? Do you think it's conditioning for us to be prepared or to accept what is the inevitable or what could be coming? Is it UFOs? Is it aliens? What do you think it is? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
You're telling me that is human flesh? Exactly. But why human meat? We know more about humans than we do about animals. So we've mastered engineering human cells to make these structured flavours and sinews that we expect from the flavours of steaks we eat. This must be a relatively new process. But under EU law, we couldn't possibly operate machines like this due to legislation. But thankfully now we're out. We can harvest people and we can pay them for their flesh. Well, this will either be cut into steaks or it'll go off and be processed for sausages, burgers, you name it.
Guys, all I'm gonna say is we really have no idea or clue what is going into the food chain. But one thing we do know is your local butcher doesn't have a lab in the back.
Adult Swim is getting sued for coming after one of the most predatory industries in the world. Just watch.
Okay, just go with me for a minute. What if there were a medicine that could heal, like, almost anything?
Well, yeah, that would be great, sure.
Yeah, right, but what if they didn't want you to know about it?
They? Sorry, who's they?
They is Big Pharma. It's the insurance companies, the government. Think about all the people who make tons of money just from keeping us sick, by keeping us unwell.
And they're walking on thin ice because this doctor's video got taken down for saying the exact same thing.
Listen, when I went to medical school, I was told, like, once you have those blockages, the only way to get them out is to actually drill them out. There's no way to naturally reverse it. The soluble fiber, okay, the kind of fiber that can dissolve, can also help clean your arteries, especially if they're clogged. You can reverse plaque, the blockages in your arteries.
He was talking about an ingredient called soluble fiber. That's what used to be in all our foods before big companies started removing it from everything. Because there's no profit in keeping you healthy. And without it, you're constantly feeling hungry, bloated, drained, and your veins can even get clogged. So getting enough is really important. But before you rush to grab any fiber supplement, Not all fiber is the same. You need to make sure it says soluble fiber on the label, and you need to make sure it's lab tested for purity in America. The best one I found is the fiber from Physician's Choice. Some other companies make their fiber with fake ingredients like wood chips just to increase profits. This one only has pure soluble fiber from vegetables like corn. Because it's made by real doctors who aren't paid off by big pharma. Ever since me and my mom started taking it, we don't get bloated after every meal, have more energy, have less cravings, and her blood pressure even went down. If you want it, I'll leave a link to the official one here or on my profile so you don't get scammed.
Always be keeping an eye on the movies and cartoons because they be unveiling secrets of the things that are happening in our lives. They may be for entertainment, but they have some truth to them. Looking forward to the drop of Disclosure Day.
There will be a movement driven by big corporations to take the soul away from people, to disconnect people from the higher world. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the pineal gland in people. And I followed the research on that, and amazingly what we found, that the pineal gland is the most sensitive part of our central nervous system and is highly, highly, highly sensitive to 4 things: aluminum, glyphosate, fluoride, and Wi-Fi. And we are the only country in the world that has pushed these 4 things in the last 60 years or so on everybody growing up here. There must have been an ultra-intelligence group of scientists who have designed this protocol to fluoridate the drinking water, to put nanonized aluminum in the air, to put glyphosate in the food, and then activate it, spark it with the right frequencies.
About technology. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's inner technology, and you have to understand what technology really is. You don't understand what technology is because every time we say technology, you're thinking this and that. No. Your body is the highest level of technology there is. That is what that is. And I don't have my paper with the breakdown of the word right now, and I can't remember. But anyway, I define it on my website. I've broken it down according to techno and the other aspects of the word in terms of what it really does mean. And technology is really about taking energy and forming it into whatever it is, energy, whatever it is you're choosing to form it in. That's really what technology is. And your body is that. Your body is so equipped and so powerful in the sense of your capabilities, in the sense of waking up and mastering. The word mastering isn't the word I really want to use, but really being able to interchange matter, antimatter, being able to do that. This is what this is about. This is about you understanding how to take matter, how to take energy and shape it and mold it. And that begins with you, with your body, with your mind, with your brain. It's all technology, but it's divine technology. And it's that divine technology that has created these planets and the universe and all the other universes that exist that you don't hear about.
Someone out there needs to hear this. You are already divine. You are already eternal. You are part of this universal consciousness. Some people call it God. And that same spark that created everything in the known universe also inhabits every atom inside of your body. Meaning that you are part of the divine itself and it is part of you. You can't separate the two. So stop hoping, begging, and wishing to be eternal and understand that you already are. And now begin to walk in your true power, understanding that you are part of this creation, but you are also a co-creator in this reality.
Russia said, y'all gonna learn today. Vladimir Putin said that y'all are gonna learn today. I told y'all that Putin was gonna be putting us on. So Russia just opened its doors to one of the most ancient churches in the land, y'all. And guess what the people found? They were shocked to see that the prophets, and I mean all of the prophets, every single one of them were indigenous. They were copper-colored people. But we in America, we're not surprised. We're not shocked at all because we been trying to tell y'all. And it's not like y'all didn't know. Why do you think there was a reason why the door stayed locked in the churches in the first place? Why do you think y'all were blowing off the noses off the artifacts, huh? Now, things are coming to the surface. The truth is coming to the surface. Putin's saying there will be no more truth staying buried in Russia.
Y'all have seen there how we have been manipulated over and over again for the gains of the rich, or as they say, the elites and those who rule us. Good thing people are getting awakened. Subscribe below to join the awakened family.
Some knowledge doesn't get hidden by accident. It gets buried because it's dangerous, not to people, but to power. Ancient civilizations understood this, which is why real knowledge was never given freely. It was locked behind initiation, symbols, and silence. In texts like the Book of Enoch, the greatest crime wasn't war or rebellion, but teaching humans too much too soon, knowledge that collapsed hierarchy and made obedience impossible. Because once people understand how reality works, control stops working. That's why truth is fragmented, history feels incomplete, and the most important ideas are labeled myth, madness, or metaphor. Not because they're false, but because they're effective. Every fallen civilization proves the same rule. Ignorance keeps systems alive. Understanding destroys them. And that's why the most powerful knowledge is never announced publicly. It waits to be recognized by those who are ready to see it.
There's a pattern in human belief that never gets talked about. Thousands of religions have existed. Every single one claimed the truth. People prayed to Ra, Zeus, Odin the same way people pray today. They built temples, wrote scriptures, fought wars, died believing those gods were eternal. Now we call them mythology. Entire civilizations were organized around beliefs that no longer exist. So when someone says their religion is the final truth, remember this: every extinct religion said the same thing. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Researchers from the University of British Columbia found that belief in moralizing gods only became common after societies grew large and complex, not at the beginning, after. When communities were small, belief systems weren't about constant surveillance or punishment. But once societies expanded, once strangers needed to obey rules, suddenly God started watching everything, judging everything, punishing everything. That suggests something important. Religion didn't just explain reality, it helped regulate behavior. From the inside, belief always feels eternal, chosen, untouchable. But history shows belief systems rise when they're useful, spread when they're powerful, and disappear when the world changes. This isn't disrespect, it's perspective. Certainty isn't proof. It's just what belief feels like before it becomes history.
Don't look at what's in front of you. Booze, moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Booze, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, my God, me from going lunatic. Moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
The last person to speak this name correctly lived almost 2,000 years ago, and according to ancient texts, that is not a coincidence. It's a warning. Now, some of you asked me if the Shem HaMephorash is witchcraft or black magic, but that's the wrong question. What you should be asking is why this name was hidden from you your entire life, and what exactly makes it so powerful. So let's dive in. Of course, starting first with what is the Shem HaMephorash? The Shem HaMephorash, or the explicit name or the ineffable name, is not a prayer. It's also not a mantra. It is, according to Kabbalistic Kabbalistic tradition the actual vibrational signature of the divine source itself, the precise phonetic sequence that when spoken correctly does not invoke God, it is God, expressed in sound. Now all of creation was constructed through this name, not metaphorically, spoken into existence, frequency by frequency and letter by letter. To speak it correctly is not to call upon power, it is to access the source code of everything that exists. Oh yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about Kabbalah and other mystery traditions like Gnosticism and Rosicrucianism, make sure to click the link in my bio because the doors to the inner sanctum are opening for a limited time very soon. We're talking less than a week till launch here, so if you're interested, make sure you go click the link. So the Shem HaMephorash is extracted from 3 consecutive verses in Exodus 14, describing the parting of the Red Sea. Verses 19, 20, and 21 each contain exactly 72 Hebrew letters. Not approximately, exactly. By taking the first verse forward, the second in reverse, and the third forward again, stacking the letters in columns of 3, the Kabbalists extracted 72 3-letter combinations, each one a different name of God. Together, they constitute the complete Shem HaMephorash. Now the Zohar teaches that Moses didn't part the Red Sea through personal power. He spoke the 72-part name in correct sequence. The waters moved because the name underlying the architecture of physical reality was spoken by someone who knew exactly what they were saying. Now I know you're on the edge of your seat because you want to know the names, so let's get into them. So each of the 72 names is a specific frequency, a discrete application of divine power with its own function and its own angelic correspondent. Vehuya, the first name, carries the frequency of divine will, said to manifest what exceeds ordinary causation. Jalil, the second, restores harmony by operating not on the surface of the conflict, but on the underlying frequency that's generating it. Sitail, the third, addresses obstacles not by removing them, but by altering the consciousness of the one facing them so profoundly that the obstacle loses its power to obstruct. Elamaya, the fourth, governs hidden things and the exposure of what has been deliberately concealed. Mahasayar, the fifth, carries the frequency of tikkun, or the correction of what has been distorted at the soul level. Now Lahalel is the sixth, and this applies divine light specifically to healing, addressing illness not symptomatically but at the spiritual root from which physical manifestation descends. Not general invocations, okay? Surgical instruments is what these are. Each one is calibrated to the precise frequency of intervention in the fabric of reality. And of course this is ringing bells with the Tetragrammaton. And that's because beneath all 72 names sits the foundation, the 4-letter name of God, Yod-He-Vav-He, written in every Torah scroll and spoken by no one. The original vowel points, the precise phonetic markers needed to actually vocalize it, were deliberately omitted from the written text. The Talmud records that the correct pronunciation was transmitted in whisper from teacher to student once every 7 years, as the most protected knowledge in the entire tradition. The last authorized speaker was the Kohen Gadol, or the high priest, who pronounced the full name once per year in the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur. Now the people outside made noise to ensure that no unauthorized ear could hear it. When the temple fell in 70 CE, the transmission ended. The name wasn't lost, it was sealed, deliberately, hidden in fragments across the 72 names, waiting for a generation capable of reassembling it. Alright, Bladen, pretty special name, but what exactly does it do? Well, the Sefer Raziel HaMalach, said to have been given directly to Adam after the expulsion from Eden, states that the complete name spoken correctly gives the speaker authority over the entire created order. Not influence, authority. Now the Talmud records that temple gatekeepers created ambient noise during the high priest pronunciation because any authorized person who heard it and retained what it would possess capabilities that no institution could contain. Now the Zohar is the most direct of all. The name's progressive restriction, moved from public to priestly to once yearly to finally lost, was a controlled demolition of access. The name was considered so operationally powerful that its restriction was deemed necessary for the stability of the social order. A population with direct access to the source code of reality is by definition ungovernable. And no matter your religion, your faiths, or your beliefs, this is what it means for you. The Shem HaMephorash was not hidden from you because you couldn't handle it. It was hidden from you because you could. The 72 names are written in a 3-verse sequence in Exodus that has been sitting in plain sight for 3,000 years, waiting for someone who knew what they were actually looking at. You found them. What you do with that is between you and the 72 names. So if you want to learn more about the Shem HaMephorash, Kabbalistic divine names, and how to work with these frequencies in your own practice, make sure to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments below, head over to the link in my bio for more information about our esoteric community and our deepest research there, and make sure to follow for more deep dives like this. Till next time, guys.
I had never hear a name like that, but shout out to him. He really be cooking something there. What I can say is that religion has been a contradicting topic all over different societies, so it's up to you to choose your own path and destiny.
Members of the Mant tribe were suddenly seen arriving at a nearby village, the closest known settlement to where this mysterious tribe is believed to live. What makes this moment unsettling is that this is the only time they have ever been recorded openly interacting with outsiders. Look closely at their behavior. They don't seem afraid. They approach calmly, observe people, and interact without hesitation. In the footage, some of them appear to be holding a plastic bag with a dark liquid, possibly soda, using it to hydrate. For a tribe believed to live completely isolated from modern civilization, this detail raised serious questions. What makes this encounter even stranger is that the Mant are known for avoiding all contact. Yet here they are, standing in the open, allowing themselves to be filmed. No signs of panic. No attempts to hide, just quiet observation, as if they came with a purpose. According to recent reports, the Mant tribe was only documented after being discovered by a group of urban explorers in Indonesia. Since then, rumors have spread that they appear unexpectedly, interact briefly, and disappear without leaving any trace. They didn't come for trade. They didn't ask for help. They came only to interact, and then they left. So what do you think? Is this just a rare encounter with an isolated tribe, or something far more mysterious? Did you already know about the Mant, or is this your first time hearing about them? Subscribe, or we'll never see each other again.
This woman shared a terrifying story on her social media, and now the whole internet is talking about it. It all started when she made a special chalkboard-style wall for her kids, so they could draw on it with chalk. The boys loved it, but not long after, something unexplainable started showing up on that wall, alongside their drawings. One day, the woman came home from work and decided to clean up the kids' room while the boys were visiting their grandma and grandpa. She walked in and immediately noticed the window was open, but she didn't think much of it. She figured the kids probably just forgot to close it before they left. She started cleaning, and then suddenly she noticed something on the wall, fingerprints from an adult hand. They were left in chalk, and there was no way her kids could have made them. This was clearly an adult's hand, and most likely even a man's. She was completely shocked. And then, when she connected those fingerprints with the open window, a horrifying realization hit her. She ran outside and found even more handprints on a pipe. And judging by where the fingers were placed, whoever left them looked like they had been climbing down the pipe from above. But the creepiest part happened later that same day, when her kids told her that last night, someone had been looking into their windows.
This disturbing video has been shocking people for years. This video is about a woman named Nikki who becomes possessed by a ghost while doing a makeup tutorial. The video begins with Nikki normally introducing herself and her makeup tutorial. However, a little bit into the tutorial, the left side of the screen changes and Nikki immediately starts staring directly into the camera. And at this point, it gets extremely disturbing. Nikki then starts banging her head against the table and blood splatters everywhere. After this, she sits in the chair dead still with a swollen face and one eye twitching, while a lot of blood pours down her face. This video is meant to be a horror story, and it is very effective at creating a sense of suspense and dread. The use of close-ups and sudden changes in the video are particularly effective at making the viewer feel uncomfortable. The video also plays on the viewer's fear of the unknown, as it never fully explains what happened to Nikki or why she becomes possessed. This video has been praised by some for its originality and its ability to scare viewers. However, it has also been criticized for its graphic violence and its potential trigger to viewers with mental health problems. The video is just a work of fiction. It is an acting performance that is meant to be scary and suspenseful. It is not a real depiction of a woman being possessed by a ghost, but the video is so realistic it sends chills down your spine. Now, when I first watched this video, I thought it was 100% real and I didn't know it was fake. The video is so realistic that if you go into it thinking that it's real, you're going to believe it 100%. Many people still believe this video to be real, but it has been proven to be fake. Either way, it's still an extremely hard watch just because it's blunt force trauma and she's doing it to herself. And the way she looks after she bangs her head on the table multiple times is absolutely stomach-turning. Still, I don't recommend watching this video, but if you do, I'm just warning you right now, it is pretty disturbing.
Al-Haythul is a jinn known for an eerie habit. He refuses to drink water for 11 full years, wandering the desert in complete dryness, and then on a single night he suddenly appears at a lonely pond, drinks once, and vanishes again for another decade. In ancient times, when Arab tribes approached a water source and saw its surface turned murky, oily, or strangely black, they believed it meant Al-Haythul had visited the pond before them. Out of fear, they would avoid the water entirely for 3 days, keeping their camels away until the color returned to normal. According to old legends, anyone unlucky enough to drink from a pond on the same day Al-Haythul drank from it would suffer a horrific fate. Their skin would turn dark like scorched earth, their mind would break, and they would wander the desert in a daze, never returning to their family and never recovering from the curse. The only cure was to wash in the water of the mysterious Shafafaf well, hidden deep in the Hadramaut desert and guarded by the jinn of the Tamil clan. No human could reach its water without fighting these supernatural guards. If the traveler managed to defeat them, they would surrender and grant him access to the well's healing water.
What a weird world we live in. Those clips have some creeps to them, right? Living this life with all this evil in it and all these creatures roaming around unseen ain't easy. I hope y'all be careful out there and stay safe.
I keep telling y'all, stop going to these beaches at night thinking that mermaids aren't real. If you do not think mermaids are real, go into the Book of Enoch and see what it says about mermaids. So it's a video going around where this man and his friends went to a beach, and this man is screaming on the beach because something came out of the water and took his friend off of the beach. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. I'm gonna sit this right here. Y'all cannot be playing on these beaches. Look. Shit is crazy. The ocean at night is already different. You can't see below the surface. You can't see what's moving. And most disappearances near waters happen and no bodies are recovered. In Greek mythology, sirens don't look like Disney mermaids. They lure sailors in with sounds, with singing, with voices that felt familiar. If you go down the rabbit hole, you'll see Christopher Columbus himself documented seeing mermaids in 1493. And people thought it was fake propaganda. The NOAA even denied statements that mermaids are real. But why deny something that doesn't exist? Now go back to the video. Why is that man screaming like that? You gotta remember that thousands of people disappear near the coastline every single year. Boaters report hearing voices in the fog. Divers talk about poor currents that feel like hands, that feel intentional. And then you have the military. Military sonar has picked up unidentified aquatic sounds. And these sounds that they picked up didn't match whales or dolphins or fish. So what were they? And again, you gotta remember that they only explore 5% of the ocean. Those waters, those beaches at night are not the place to be. I've made plenty of videos on mermaids. I've made videos about what the elites do with mermaids. Pay attention.
Like, dude, I'm gonna show you something. He was like, but you can never bring nobody here. And he touched the tree and the tree opened. He touched the tree and the tree opened. We went inside the tree. There was a whole village of Bigfoots. Baby Bigfoots. Female Bigfoots. I'm talking about massive Bigfoots. It was like some Wakanda stuff. It's there, but you don't even know that it's there. I'm seeing all kind of stuff. Hey, these are not just, you think they're just some creatures or whatever the situation may be. These beings are heavenly advanced. Okay? They were the first to be created.
Now, I think we can all agree that you got a lot of people out here that lie. You got people that they wake up and they just lie to lie. We all know somebody who just wake up and just lie for no reason, right? But I think what we don't mention enough is that a lot of those liars are people who are initiated into high degrees in different systems within our society, whether that be education or politics. We haven't been told the truth about a lot of things. And sometimes a lot of the stories that we just think, man, this is, come on, seriously, like we just hear it and it's like never. That sounds like it's out of some type of science fiction show. Sometimes that actually be true. And the stuff that we be thinking about this world that we're told by people that we were taught to trust, sometimes those are the lies. Those be the lies. And there be whole worlds around us that we can't even see. Advanced beings all around us that we cannot see. At least a lot of us may not be able to see unless they want us to see them. Just something to think about, right? If you got a story similar to like seeing Bigfoot, Sasquatch, anything like that, let me know in the comments. You will not be judged here, and I definitely do delete ignorant people.
Aliens are real, bro. Look at it.
This is actually we terrified with.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large.
Trump is letting the files be released now. Look.
On April 30th, 2023, Las Vegas police officers witnessed something extraordinary. Their body cam captured a bright, glowing green spear of light tearing across the night sky. And only 40 minutes later, 16-year-old Angel Kenmore had called 911 from his family's backyard.
Damn.
His voice shook as he told dispatchers.
Okay, what's going on over there?
Okay, ladies. Me, my dad, and my brother, we're working on a truck in our backyard, and we have a big lot outside, right? Correct?
Okay.
We were working, and we just see in a corner of our eye something fall down from the sky, and it was with light, and when it hit down, it was like a big...
That's CGI, but this voice call is real.
And then we hear like a lot of footsteps near us, and then we have a big equipment, and we see, and there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
When officers arrived, they took the call seriously
hearing this?
because of the strange light they seen in the sky. One of the officers said,
"My partner said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious."
Multiple family members have backed up.
And look what Trump said. Trump approves release of secret information about UFOs and aliens, bro. There's a lot of things going on. Even the Bible states that there will be a lot of surprises in the end times, but we as Christians and believers gotta be calm, be faithful to God. The Bible literally states deep in the oceans there are creatures that we don't know about. So imagine.
Why is it that these people who really capture footage of these creatures always have some low-quality cameras, but we can't blame them because they managed to capture the footage and now we have evidence these things exist?
If your algorithm is recommending you videos that start like this, I don't know what that says about you. All the mummies in ancient Egypt, there is none as bizarre as the mummy of the Screaming Woman. She was discovered in the 1930s at a site called Deir el-Bahri, an Egyptian mortuary complex outside the city of Luxor, and her burial is believed to date to 3,500 years ago. Now, if you don't want to see a mummy, this is your last chance to scroll. While her real name has been lost to time, she earned her modern nickname because her mouth appears to be frozen in a scream. This has led to speculation that this is evidence of something called a cadaveric spasm. Sometimes called a dead man's grip, it's a rare phenomenon that can happen during a particularly stressful demise. Her muscles that were active at the exact moment become locked in position. But her burial makes this theory even more bizarre. The tomb she was found in contained other mummies of high-ranking officials of the pharaoh Hatshepsut. She was buried in a beautifully painted sycamore coffin. Her hair was decorated with henna and herbs. Her organs were all still in place, unlike later Egyptian mummies that would have theirs removed. And her body had even been covered in a thin layer of resin and partially dried before burial as part of an elaborate mummification ritual. This burial doesn't really align with a horrific demise, but researchers were still curious, so they performed this CAT scan to look for further evidence. But other than mild arthritis and a few long-lost teeth, she was completely fine. Considering all this, and other Egyptian mummies with a similar expression, it's likely that this is just a result of the mummification process, and that all evidence shows that the Screaming Woman was really a woman who was loved and cared for to the very end. If this was a highlight in the horrors of your doom scroll, sauce me a follow so we don't lose each other, and send this to your friend that needs a little jump scare.
The horror movie that people are calling the scariest horror movie of the year. The film is none other than Diabolic. It's a religious horror movie, and this one looks terrifying as hell. It follows a woman who is searching for a miracle cure, but what she finds is far more frightening than what she expected. That's because her search turns into a nightmare when she confronts the vengeful spirit of a cursed witch, and this witch is determined to claim her as a vessel for her evil power. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the scariest horror movie trailers that I've seen in a long time. It's scary, it's creepy, it has that demonic feel to it, something that you want in movies that deal with religion and witches. The movie also looks gruesome, and it looks as though they're really using practical effects in this movie. So any body horror that takes place in this movie, it's gonna look real. Hey, I haven't been scared by a horror movie in a minute, but this movie right here, it looks like it's gonna do the trick. Diabolic is set to release in theaters this February on the 20th. If you think you're brave enough to see it, go do so because this one looks like it's gonna be a banger. Let me know if you guys are looking forward to this one. Be sure to save this video, and after you watch the movie, come back to this and let me know what you thought about it.
Imagine you're walking late at night, completely alone, and suddenly you see this. This short clip went viral online for a very unsettling reason. At first glance, it looks like just a woman walking home, but security footage captured something no one can fully explain. The woman was heading down a dim, empty street when a tiny creature stepped out of the shadows and began walking directly toward her. Not a child, not an animal, but something else. A dwarf-like figure, barely the height of her knee, moving with an unnatural confidence as if it recognized her. She froze, didn't scream, didn't run, just stood there, paralyzed, as this thing approached her in complete silence. Researchers online began comparing the creature to mythological beings from different cultures. Latin America's duende, Ireland's leprechauns, Scandinavian trollfolk, and even the Filipino duende, small supernatural entities said to appear only to people chosen for a message or a warning. Some users believe the creature is harmless. Others insist it's a bad omen, a spirit tied to abandoned places or crossroads at night. Here is the footage again, but slowed down, so you can see the moment it appears. Stop video, Alina. So now the question is, what exactly did this woman meet that night? A myth made real? A spirit? A creature not yet documented? Tell me what you think in the comments, and follow me, or we'll never see each other again.
Be careful, y'all, who like walking out at night. These creatures be roaming around during the night, and you never know what you will come across. What do you think of them horror movies in that clip? Tell us in the comments if you've seen them.
Watch this. Ravens are just very smart. Here are some quick facts about them that are honestly pretty surprising. One, they're just smarter than you probably think. Something like this, where they use sticks or something to retrieve food, has been documented many times. And another thing that they do that's actually very smart is they will get nuts or acorns or whatever they're trying to eat, and they will drop them in traffic so that cars will run over them. So pretty much the traffic cracks the nut for them, and then they'll go get it and then fly off with it and eat it. Incredibly smart. And they can actually assess problems. So they will figure out a problem that they have, assess it, think about what kind of tool would help them. Like in this video, that one stick wouldn't work, and he went and got the longer, skinnier stick, stuck it in there, and it worked perfectly. They're just very good at cause and effect. When there's a problem, they figure out how to fix it, and then when it's not getting fixed, they figure out what's happening to not fix it, and then they fix that problem. They're just very smart animals. And they actually have one of the largest brain to body ratios in the animal kingdom. From their body size, their brain is huge, and that just helps them do things like this, cause and effect, plan for the future. They're very smart, and this video shows they know how to fix a problem.
Hey yo, check this shit out.
Do not look away from the symbol. You drew this in middle school. I drew this. We all did. But ask yourself one question. Who taught you how to draw it? It wasn't a teacher. It wasn't in a textbook. It wasn't on TV. And there was no internet to spread it. Yet somehow, this specific shape appeared in every single classroom on Earth at the exact same time. You probably called it the Superman S or the Stussy S, but look closer. Neither of those brands ever used this symbol. Those were false memories implanted to make you feel safe. This was actually the Universal S protocol, a global experiment in analog viral marketing designed to test how fast a single geometric instruction could infect the collective unconscious. Think about the sensation of drawing it, the 6 vertical pillars, the diagonal cross. It felt strangely satisfying, didn't it? That satisfaction was the trap. You weren't doodling, you were closing the circuit. It's 2 parallel sets of vertical bars that never actually touch. A broken infinity loop designed to trap your focus in the margins of your notebook. They weren't testing your artistic ability, they were calibrating your compliance to a grid. The experiment was a success. We all learned the code without ever being told. If you have this symbol in your old notebooks, you didn't create it, you were the end.
That's it for this chilling chapter of Chill Spot. We hope you've enjoyed diving into the strange and unexplained with us. If today's episode left you with questions or even goosebumps, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more unsettling content waiting for you. Want to see something truly mind-blowing? Stick around for the next video. It's just around the corner. Thanks for watching, and remember, the mystery is never far away at Chill Spot.